Well, first of all, thank you for the introduction, Michael, because Baboon Bubbles Buffoon, whoa, is still the head coach of this team. So by that default, whatever move we make in the offseason is null and void.
It's New York Minute Sports.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We got a special one for you tonight. I got interviewed by PudgyBoy Sportz. We're talking Mets, we're talking Yankees, Kyle Tucker, and Cody Bellinger, but that's a little bit later in the episode. Right now, the Yankees have got their left-hander, the young Ryan Weathers, with a microscopic 1.26 whip, and he is the goods, folks. And guess what? The Yankees gave up a bag of balls for him. I know people say, oh, they're prospects. Guess what? A prospect is like a scratch-off lotto ticket. You never know if you're going to hit or not, and most of the times, you don't. But one of the saving graces of this, and me being a 90s Yankee fan, baby, he is the son of none other than bullpen arm David Weathers. Yep, you see him right there. That's Pops. So he's got the pitching pedigree. Anybody remembers David Weathers, an integral part of the 1996 championship team? He was on the Yankees from 95 to 97. So the Yankees solve a major problem. I like to call it the Gerrit Cole, Carlos Rodón, Tappan bridge, baby. They need to bridge the gap in the beginning of the season because they have arms coming. Kind of like last year with Luis Gil. But I wanted to get on here. The Yankees, if you're a Yankee fan, solid move by Brian Cashman. I know a lot of these moves that he is making are not sexy, but he is solidifying the New York Yankees team and addressing problems. And guess what? This is one of them. And Ryan Weathers is a young stud left-hander and son of a former Yankee. What don't you love about this? And we're going to go over right now to PudgyBoy Sportz with a Z on YouTube. You can check out his channel. Don't forget to like his stuff. Don't forget to subscribe. And we were talking Yankees and Mets, Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger, and everything in between. So let's go over to that interview right now.
For our New York baseball teams, we might finally have some clarity regarding Cody Bellinger and the New York Yankees and Kyle Tucker and the reported deal that the New York Mets have been very aggressive in trying to get him to come to Queens, as unlikely as it might be. I, again, have Erik from New York Minute Sports, biggest Yankee fan on the channel. His page is doing extremely well. Yankee postgame, Yankee news, Yankee rumors, biggest Aaron Boone fan that you could find out there. Erik, the Cody Bellinger news we're going to get to in a little bit, but I want to get your opinion on the reported $50 million deal with Kyle Tucker and the New York Mets.
Well, first of all, thank you for the introduction, Michael, because Baboon Bubbles Buffoon, whoa, is still the head coach of this team. So by that default, whatever move we make in the offseason is null and void. But I'll entertain you for entertainment's sake. Kyle Tucker, first of all, is not the guy for the Yankees. He's the perfect dude for the New York Mets. And now the New York Mets keep rewriting baseball when it comes to money, when it comes to Uncle Stevie Cohen getting pissed off that nothing has happened, because at the end of the day, your owner is a baseball fan. Yeah, he's a baseball fan that might have $36 billion in his bank account. Might have bought the Mets just to get a casino next door, but no. He wakes up and he goes, you know what? He goes like this. He goes, oh, man, where's my phone? Where's my phone? He picks it up and he goes, hey, he goes, what are we doing this offseason, bro? I keep listening to the fan. Nothing's happening. I go, all right. Hey, why don't we give Kyle Tucker 50 million space bucks a year for 3 years? Put that down his pipe, and let's see if we can put a spark under this offseason, because guess what? This is the first sign of light that you're seeing from Kyle Tucker's camp. We haven't heard shit from him. We haven't heard anything. It's been Cody Bellinger, Cody Bellinger, Cody Bellinger. And I said right on my show on New York Minute, NEWYRKMIN, right here on YouTube and on Instagram, that Cody Bellinger was going to be a New York Met. Now, this changes everything, Mike. And, Mike, how are you feeling as a Met fan?
Nervous. I'm very this is something I'm not prepared to take yet, because a lot of Mets fans that I'm seeing are starting to turn the page on how they feel about David Stearns. when it comes to where they were feeling about a month and a half ago by saying the 2026 season was going to be over. Now, by no means am I saying I still think that I don't think the Mets are the favorites to land him, but they're being extremely, extremely aggressive in trying to get him. And I love the fact that it's short-term, high AAV. You're not locking yourself into a guy who does have a little bit of an injury history, but he could reward you with all-star seasons as he's a better all-around player than other guys that you've had in this lineup that I will not mention, so I don't trigger the emotions of other Mets fans. Getting Kyle Tucker on this team would be tremendous for the franchise. Blue Jays are offering apparently a long-term deal. We're unaware of what the numbers are. Dodgers and Mets are the short-term teams, and I just don't see the Dodgers coming close to that number. This would be an A-plus signing for Steve Cohen, David Stearns, and it would shove a lot in the Mets fans' faces that have quit on this team already.
So it's like you're playing a video game and you're in Arc Raiders and you see somebody next to you and he does something. You go, I didn't know I could do that. That's what one of these deals is. 3 years for $50 million. Hey, nobody said anything about that. Like, we've been hearing he wants, 13 years, $500 million. He wants to be partial owner. We're hearing then the Mets come out with, it's like, shit, you can't be doing that. And also, I would rather spend the money up front, Mike, than spend the money on the back end. I mean, it's a running joke, Bobby Bonilla Day, but that's a thing. And I know it's only $1 million, but that's a thing. I'd rather pay up front because I have seen the contracts on the New York Yankees like Jason Giambi not age well. Guys like Jacoby Ellsbury were so hurt that they couldn't even play, who I think Bo Bichette might be the next Jacoby Ellsbury. We can get to that. Ask me all about it all you want. But the New York Yankees, Kyle Tucker's not the right guy for them. And the reason I say that Kyle Tucker is not the right guy for the New York Yankees, you have to take the cheating scandal into consideration. Brian Cashman still brings that shit up, and that was 9 years ago now at this point. So I don't think anybody connected to that. That's why you're not seeing the Springers of the world, the Carreras of the world, who actually the Yankees needed at one point, are not on the New York Yankees. You never seen Bregman play third base when he's a perfect option for them, a veteran leader third base. The Yankees would have stepped over their own grandmother to play third base, okay? They don't want anyone connected to that, so that nulls him out. Then you get a guy like Cody Bellinger, and Mike, Cody Bellinger's not the guy either, man.
No, I don't see the Mets. I don't see the Mets or Yankees giving into those demands for Cody Bellinger. I want to show you quickly.
But I think real quick before you show me, I think that Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker both fit the New York Mets better. I think that they would play out better because the Yankees. And I'll get to it. Show me what you got to show me.
Well, the Mets also have a need for both players. The Yankees will they'll recover just fine on missing on both of those guys.
That's why Brian Cashman's the Mike Tomlin of the Major League Baseball and vice versa, because he will just win with nobody in his outfield.
So this is a guy called Tony. This is a funny name, Tony Metro on Twitter. He's a Mets fan. He breaks down stuff that you just don't think about. Now, this is like the smallest nugget that you could imagine the Mets possibly having an advantage over. Edwin Diaz signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. They lost. They had a qualifying offer, so the Dodgers had to lose their second and their fifth highest draft pick in 2026. Plus, they lost $1 million in international pool money. And going to the Blue Jays, the other team involved, when they signed Dylan Cease, there was also a qualifying offer attached to that. They lost their second and fifth highest pick into the 2026 draft. So now this guy will explain to you why it could be even worse if the Blue Jays or Dodgers go and sign Kyle Tucker for next season. Tony Metro, very good. You should follow him on the Twitter there.
Mets have a huge advantage over the rest of the pack in their chase for Kyle Tucker, and here's why. It sounds like a three-team race right now between the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, and the Mets. We know the Cubs offered Tucker the $22 million qualifying offer this year, which he declined. But in the case of those other two teams, they've already signed guys with QOs attached to them. The Blue Jays getting Dylan Cease, and of course the Dodgers stealing Edwin Diaz from the Mets. So they've already lost their 2nd and 5th round picks, plus $1 million in international pool money. And signing another player with a qualifying offer attached to them would seriously impact their 2026 draft, because both teams would have to forfeit the top 4 picks, their 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th highest in the upcoming draft. Something that no team has ever done before. So banking on history, the Mets have a huge advantage on their side that neither the Blue Jays or Dodgers will go into those waters.
Now, I think that that's a pretty good, just a little cute little nugget for Mets fans that might be a little bit worried about possibly not being able to sign Tucker. That's a lot to lose, man. And maybe the Dodgers could get away with it. They, for some reason, they still have the #1 farm system in baseball. So them losing 4 of their top 5 draft picks in 2026 might not really affect them. But that's $2 million in pool money that both teams can lose. Those draft picks, dude, I don't know how you would feel if you're a fan of one of those teams. Probably not the Dodgers so much because they've won. I'd be a little bit weary about pulling off a deal like that.
What I think this is mental gymnastics in a slow offseason. Holy shit. You want to talk about minutia. Yeah, that no one gives a shit about draft picks in baseball. I mean, if we were still on the NFL, yeah, I'd say, okay, qualifying offers, draft picks, all that shit. Major League Baseball is doing everything that they can. And you can see the episode I did with the Major League Commissioner on there, and I was talking about his interview, is that don't care about draft picks in baseball. They had a draft show on Major League Baseball. It got about 11 people watching. I was 10 of them because I had 10 TVs on in my house. So the draft picks, man, you want to talk about a crapshoot, is nothing like a draft pick in baseball, bro. They've gotten a little bit better of no-miss guys like the Bryce Harpers, the Paul Skeens of the world, the Turk Skubals. But those guys would have came out in any generation, and they would have been good. This seems a lot of heavy mental gymnastics. The LA Dodgers could give a shit less about giving away prospects. And when you have the #1 farm system in the league, that means that you have, all right, pick from my top 13 guys. In fact, the qualifying offer is now the franchise tag in baseball, just like it is in the NFL. And guys were taking that QO because there's going to be a strike next year. So guys, everyone wants to talk like these GMs are playing 3-dimensional chess. No. The qualifying offer is such a heavy burden on Major League Baseball's offseason this year is because of the fact that you're staring down the barrel of the 27 strike, which will happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the Mets are pretty in a stalemate right now with the Blue Jays, Dodgers. Something's going to happen by the end of the week. I would assume so. Maybe even tonight.
But Mike, this is the problem, and this is the drum I've been beating all offseason, man. These guys are the 2 best looking girls at a half-ass party. Okay, there are a couple of 6s walking around in a room of sausage. Okay, Cody Bellinger, I'd like to bring you out because I keep hearing Cody Bellinger's name on the New York Yankees, and I'm sick of it. Okay, Cody Bellinger is a good New York Yankee when he's making $21 to $26 million a year. And if you want a Major League Baseball canary in the coal mine, that would be the Chicago Cubs. They just let Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker walk from their franchise. And guess what? They made some – and if it wasn't for the Brewers playing out of their absolute mind, the Chicago Cubs have been playing above decent baseball. So they cut bait with these big guys. They rent them for half a year, and they go bye-bye. And also, how is the 1-year rental going? I'd like to ask teams how this fucking 1-year rental is going because I keep hearing people putting a gun to Mets fans' head that you guys should have Turk Skubal already and all this shit. How does a 1-year rental work out? You give up your whole franchise for 6 months of a guy, and then if you don't win, all right, look at the Juan Soto pivot. Now I want the New York Yankees to do a Cody Bellinger pivot. All right? I'm done waiting for this guy. And if you give him what he's asking for, Cody Bellinger's salary balloons up to $37 million. That makes him a top 5 paid player in all of Major League Baseball. Okay? I want you to play a little game next time you're on your phone and you're doom scrolling, okay? Look at the top 20 contracts in all of Major League Baseball. If you were to add Cody Bellinger to that top 20, now we're talking about a basement of 28 mil, all the way up to Juan Soto at 61. Out of all those players that are the top 20, Cody Bellinger is not as good as Anthony Rendon and Arenado. Okay? So those are the two guys that are not as good as him on that list. I cannot, in this lifetime or the next, put Cody Bellinger in the top 5 of that list. He's ranked 70th best positional player in all of baseball in ESPN's top 100. He's ranked 60th in the fantasy rankings in all the positional players in all of baseball. This guy has a lot of mileage on his engine, Mike. This is a 98 Honda with 400,000 miles on it. The guy is going into his 9th year. He won an MVP 7 years ago. He's projected to have a down year next year, just like Trent Grisham. And also, that's my biggest fear for the New York Yankees is not who we're getting in the offseason, is who's going to take a dip after a career year last year. Because guys like Trent Grisham, who came out of nowhere, okay, it looked like Reggie Jackson and Albert Einstein had a child together. Now, he takes the qualifying offer. They gave him $22 million for fucking what idea? I have no idea. You have Max Fried, had the heaviest workload of his career last year, had a little blister problems. His biggest problem has been longevity and injury problems. Not to mention, speaking of Max Fried, while we're in the neighborhood, Mike, his fucking contract balloons up to 37 next year. He's making Blake Snell money next year. So when my father on Sundays, we sit and talk baseball, he goes, Erik, it's not your money. I go, I'm well aware of that, but indirectly it is. I go to games, been to 50 games 2 seasons ago. I think it is a little bit of my money. But this is what we have to start doing, mitigating spending with cheapskate Hal. When you mitigate spending, because you know what? You heard this before. All the guys that we acquired during the All-Star break have a year and a half, 2 years on their contract. That's like acquisitions in the offseason. When you have a hurt pitcher come back, they throw that shit at you. Well, it's just like an acquisition. If you get Belly this year, who just brings back the Yankees to homeostasis, which wasn't good enough last year, a second-round exit from the playoffs, if you bring Cody back, now you're getting the same exact player that's going to have a worse year with a $16 million pay increase? Make that make sense, Mike.
And this is a guy in Cody Bellinger that there was a 24-month period where he could have been just out of baseball a couple of years ago. This is a guy, this is a very inconsistent player. And, as much as a good a fit that I would love to have him with the Mets, I'm just like you. I'm very worried about signing him long-term. If you're telling me a 3-year deal with opt-outs, I'm all for. I love those short-term deals, my favorite. But like you said, a guy who could be due for a down year after a very, very good year. And I think, all in all, I think we could both agree. Let me see if you agree. I think the Yankees have handled this more than fairly with a lot of patience.
I saw that you said that. You commented that. And I was actually kind of blown back. Well, listen, first of all, you are the fairest guy that I know on YouTube that calls it how it is. So I shouldn't be surprised by that. But when it usually comes from a Met fan, you have to be a little weary where it's come from. But yes, if it's anything that, listen, man, I don't know why Brian Cashman gets so much shit. This guy's the best in the business. I know the Yankees haven't won in 15 years, but it's a crapshoot a little bit. But yes, they have been handling this excellent. Why are the Yankees going to bid against themselves? And also, Cody Bellinger doesn't fucking know by now what the Yankees actually bring to the table for his career.
Exactly.
And another thing that would, and listen, man, it's a business at the end of the day. I get it. And you're entitled to get your money. And I hope these guys get as much money as they're entitled to. But if Cody Bellinger really wanted to win a chip with the New York Yankees, don't you think that he would have signed early so that would free up space for the New York Yankees to make more moves to go get a World Series? And not to mention, you got to remember, Cody Bellinger was protecting this lineup by Aaron Judge, who was hitting .411 in the beginning of the season. He also had Paul Goldschmidt as a table setter hitting .460 in the regular season. And Cody Bellinger doesn't like the cold. That's when we play playoff games, okay? That's when we play playoff games. He don't like the cold. He had a slow first 3 months, and then he really started to heat up. Things I do like about Cody Bellinger, he's a ball player. He can play. He can sell hot dogs while he fucking plays the game. The way that he plays the game for a stoner, for a guy that looks like he's half asleep, boy, that guy's got some fire in his belly. I totally agree. But you know what? Don't get it twisted, bro. Juan Soto had the best season of his year hitting in front of Aaron Judge. It seems like whoever they put in front of Aaron Judge or behind him, look at Jazz Chisholm's year that he had. they have career years. It's trickled down Reaganomics from Aaron Judge, like we all see.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you had to make a prediction, what do you think the Cody Bellinger Yankee marriage just continues? Because I don't see another team.
He's got to go. They cannot, for that price, they cannot sign him.
Now, we've seen that the report is that they offered 150, 160 around that kind of area. So, I mean, again, more than fair. And this is why I have such a sweet spot for you at this point. I went through this 2 years ago with Pete Alonso. Tested the market. Now, in hindsight, did it work out? No. Tested the market, and the Mets were legitimately betting against themselves. And every Mets fan was screaming, just sign him, give him this, give him that. No. Why would you do that? Why would you walk into a store, and if a box of cereal costs $7, why would you walk up to the manager and say, I'm willing to give you $15 for this box of cereal just because I really want it? You don't do that. You sit and you let the market play, and this is exactly what's going to happen. And if Bellinger doesn't smarten the F up, I would love it if the Yankees pivoted and moved on.
The Yankees, and also you got to remember, man, the Yankees are really protective, overprotected, because they've been used as leverage for the last 25 years, man.
True. Yeah.
People have been driving up their contracts against the New York Yankees for years. And like at the end of the day, you're looking at, listen, man, the Yankees are building through the farm system, bro. They're the St. Louis Cardinals now. I'm sorry to say it. We got that mall with limestone wrapped around it, that mausoleum in the Bronx that the 90s Yankees made. But guess what? Those days are over, bro. The days that everybody waits on our beck and call in the offseason, it's not happening anymore. Those are the Dodgers, bro. And guess what? The Dodgers will put their dick on the table and go get Kyle Tucker. That's where I think he's going to wind up. I think the Dodgers are the Yankees of the 90s, where they're not going to bet against themselves. And I also think what the New York Yankees do at this point is they go, hey, listen, Cody, you know what we offer. You know what we're offering. Go out, test the market. Just let us be the last team to talk to you. That's all. Before you sign, they did the same thing with Juan Soto. They looked at the price tag and they were like, fuck this noise. Because that contract's going to age so poorly. And then you got to give Brian Cashman credit for signing Aaron Judge to $40 million a year.
Yeah, I find it a little not aesthetically pleasing if I'm giving Cody Bellinger 36, 37, and then I'm giving the best player in baseball 40. This
brings up a problem. This is indirectly. You give yourself a cap that you really didn't agree to. Aaron Judge doesn't. I don't think Aaron Judge would give a fuck for a second if somebody was making more money than him on the team. That's why he wanted Juan Soto back. He even said that he wanted Juan Soto back. I think it's implemented by the front office. We can't have a guy making more money than Aaron Judge on this team. Just like a starting pitcher, we can't have him having more money than Gerrit Cole. So, like, this Yankees have this already self-imposed salary cap respect. I'll call it a respect cap for their captain of the team and for their pitcher. But guess what? It's stifling them otherwise.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, latest on the Mets, latest on the Yankees. If you guys have gotten this far in this video, I give you a ton of credit to sit and listen to two guys bicker about what's going on with the Yankees, what's going on with the Mets. Erik, you could catch him on New York Minute Sports, NEWYRKMIN, YouTube, not on TikTok yet, but Instagram.
You type NEWYRKMIN anywhere into that smoke wagon they call the information superhighway. I'm on. I'm twitching at night. Okay, no, I don't have a medical condition. Twitching. I'm actually playing on Twitch, WWE 2K mode. I'm also playing Arc Raiders, running from sprinters and spiders and splinters on there, okay? Also, MLB The Show when it comes out. I'm going to be taking on Instagram and YouTube followers. Battle Extravaganza.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to be a part of that if I could play with you guys.
Fucking, you're the first one up. Let's go.
Again, guys, share, like, subscribe. You got this far. Much appreciated. Follow me, PudgyBoy Sports Talk with a Z as well on Instagram, all the good stuff. You'll catch us there. And if anything breaks regarding the Yankees, regarding the Knicks, regarding the Jets, Erik will have it most likely on his channel. Everything else, Mets, Knicks.
I'm right here.
Giants will break it on these channels. Give us the follow. It is going to be a fun offseason for both teams, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.